I am your friend Dr. Charles Apoki. I want to dwell on a subject matter. One of my subscribers asked a question that how do you manage a firstborn son that is not willing to do anything and is not ready to maximize his potentials? And I was thinking over it. I decided to go through my archives because I remember preaching that message about 20 years back. And so I went to look for this old book, From Ground Zero to Hero, The Winner's Mindset. And on page 61 of it, I saw the message, Breaking the Yoke of Limitation over the Firstborn. And I would like you to take your scriptural references from Exodus chapter 13, verse 13, Exodus chapter 33, verse 19, Genesis chapter 39, 3 to 4, Luke chapter 2, 21 to verse 24, Numbers chapter 3, 11 to 13, and Hebrews chapter 12, verse 23. This is not a law. It is just an observation of phenomena. And it has been found out that it's a long video, so please be patient and listen to the end. It has been found out that in many circumstances, it has been that many firstborns have a mentality that is detrimental to their position, an attitude that is detrimental to their position as the firstborns. Instead of being the head, many of them behave like the tails of the family. We shall look at the deposits, the potentials, and the positioning of the firstborn and the reason why they have challenges. Ideally, this message should center around the first son. But we have also noticed this among firstborn females. So, the firstborn son is supposed to be a property of God based on the following. He is supposed to be consecrated unto God. Since the firstborn is born of an unclean man, he needs to be redeemed. And usually, in those days, if the firstborn is to be named or dedicated to God, just as Jesus was done in the temple, an animal is sacrificed. For Jesus Christ, because the parents didn't have enough money, it was turtle doves that were sacrificed. They killed them, sprinkled the blood because of the firstborn. The firstborn is purchased of God. And in Egypt, when the Lord wanted to deliver the people of Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, he killed their firstborns. Killed the firstborn of the Egyptians. And because the blood of the lamb was on the doorposts, God spared the firstborn of the nation of Israel. And so what happened is that from that day on, to commemorate and appreciate that deliverance, when a first child, a firstborn son, is dedicated, blood is shed of an animal. Now, the devil realized it, that if the firstborn child is killed or destroyed, the opponent is rendered weak. So the nation of Israel was weakened after the firstborns died. And the devil is an expert imitator. So we have God in the form of Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We have Satan, we have Antichrist, then we have the prophet of the Antichrist. So, the power of the king of Egypt was destroyed when their first sons died. Now, therefore, the devil deliberately sets out to attack the first sons in particular, and sometimes firstborn females. And if a man is polygamous, each gate of his polygamy will have different firstborns. And then the spread of attack now spreads over 3 human beings that are heading different units of the family. So, the devil deliberately sets out to attack the firstborn, but the firstborn must intentionally be protected and prepared with the mindset of leadership and a victor, not a victim. The mindset of defense must be put in him very early in life, My firstborn was really put under pressure by the devil. Very brilliant young man. He will not copy his notes. He will leave his things will get lost. He was just not paying attention in school and all that. We had to copy notes for him, wash clothes and take to the school. We had to, some days I wrestled with him to the ground, fell on the ground with him. I remember vividly the stress I went through. Both to university level, I had to take him from year 4 to do year 2 in Europe. I had to deliberately mark him, pace him. You know, when you want to train an athlete, you pace him, you run in front and he'll be running after you. I had to deliberately pace him. Today, he is an orthopedic surgeon and he's doing well. He's doing well, at least. So you must deliberately, very early. Most times we allow them for too long, then later we start complaining. The firstborn is the portion of God in your family. Therefore, he must serve him. He does not need to be a priest or a pastor or a full-time minister. Even though the Levites have replaced them, you will see that Jesus himself was dedicated to God as the firstborn. And there are other children. Samuel was dedicated to God as the firstborn. There were other children. So you must intentionally dedicate that child and focus the mind of that child towards serving God. Not necessarily as a pastor, but he must be committed to the service of God. If he doesn't do that, the devil has a hold. Then the next thing, if the firstborn deviates from the duty of serving God in one way or the other, even when he is born again, his potentials are stunted. As I'm speaking, I'm looking at several families of firstborns and those beneath them. So, if they are not committed and directed and dedicated very early, you will find out that the devil has a way to dissuade, to disturb, and to distract them. There are many firstborns, particularly sons of born-again Christians from good Christian homes, who have been rendered useless by the devil. So, let's look at the firstborn. The firstborn, if we look at Jacob and Reuben, the firstborn has the excellency of the father's strength, the improvement of his ability, the embodiment of the hope and the future of the family. Therefore, if the devil can distract, divert, demoralize, delay, deform, and destroy the firstborn, it can hinder the whole of that lineage. I usually illustrate when we are driving. I will tell whoever is with me, if a big truck is in my front and I am not seeing the front and he is limiting my speed, I usually tell the person, this is how some firstborns limit people. They hinder people. You can't see forward. You can't overtake them. You have to drive at a speed that is less than their own. So, Reuben was a typical example. He ended up being less than his potential, the excellency of my strength. He said, but you shall no longer excel. In fact, no great man or prophet or warrior came out of the lineage of the tribe of Reuben until Moses reversed that pronouncement. Moses reversed that pronouncement. So the firstborn, ideally, when it comes to property, prosperity, and posterity, the firstborn is supposed to inherit twice that of any other child. Sometimes the administration of the whole property is given to the firstborn. So the devil is very tactful. If he can hinder the firstborn, if he can distract the firstborn, the whole family will lose. Whole family will lose. The firstborn, therefore, as I said previously, should very early be put through the principles of management. Discipline and excellence in life is intentionally. There are so many families that were heroes, big families, successful families that went to ground zero because of the managerial incompetencies of the firstborns. The firstborns hold the key to the past and the key to the future. Esau had the inheritance of Abraham behind him and the nation of Israel in front of him, but he threw it away for a pot of porridge. By that singular act, he deprived the whole of his lineage and his descendants the benefit that is due to them. Esau. When God said, Jacob I love, Esau I hate, it is not our understanding of hate. It is preference. I prefer Jacob instead of Esau. And we can see that the spirit of Jacob is in the nation of Israel. Esau will have given out all the land, lost everything. He would not have been as enterprising as the Jews are. So, Reuben had a similar opportunity, but he had a fling with the father's wife, went into his bed and slept with the father's wife. There are other women around, house girls around. He went to sleep with the father's wife. And the father knew it. Reuben was to inherit Abraham's promises and the future of the nation of Israel. But he became the lion of the tribe of Judah. The other ones before Judah had their own problems, temper problem, vengeance problem. And maybe we'll do another video in that line. I just did a video about war between Hamas and Israel, between Russia and Ukraine. Try and avoid battles as much as possible. The firstborn, therefore, is a soft target. What you see in a child that is a firstborn, that is not taking things seriously, particularly a first son, is that the devil has seen him as a soft target to developmentally hinder him. Most parents are not aware of this scheme of the devil, so the firstborn is left vulnerable. The firstborn, apart from what I've said, has psychological challenges. When he is growing up, he has no models. He is the first model. There are no, the youngest ones, the second one, will see him. They will learn from him. And sometimes he is relating with adults in the house. He's the only person that is a child with these adults. So he cannot communicate. He cannot discuss with them. He is a child. And then his development, his stimulus is reduced. Some of them don't talk on time. Some of them don't walk on time. Some of them don't learn on time. Unless the parents intentionally do that. They must intentionally do that. So, a lot of them don't have challenges like the last child. I am a last child. When they share things in the house, I get last and I get the smallest. And I used to get provoked. I say, no, this cannot continue. I must end my own. In fact, my mother used to tell me, I'm not looking up to you. I'm looking up to my first children. And that thing used to agitate me to work harder. So, and they pamper a lot of them. Oh, the firstborn will have up to 20 names. particularly if the mother was barren for a while before having the child. They will give them grandfather, grandmother, they pamper them, they protect them. And so most of them have weak spiritual and physical immunity. The firstborn, by the time he is growing up, is not under any pressure. The firstborn, by the time he comes to a position of understanding, is usually made to realize that he is going to inherit things. And that thing that enters his head that is going to inherit things makes a lot of them very docile and very inactive, without knowing that wealth and inheritance is a duty, is a responsibility. So most of them want to inherit yesterday instead of building a tomorrow. So, and the following characteristics are as a result of some of the things I mentioned earlier on. Firstborns can be very restless and indecisive, particularly boys. Restless, they don't stay in one place, they don't do one job, they are moving from one school to the other, moving from one place to the other, and they can be very indecisive. They won't take action. Some of them don't marry on time. Some of them are not firm. They can be very reckless and have no value for things like Esau. They just lots of toys to play with. Often babies don't cry. They don't know what suffering is like. They've got money, nannies. So he has a lot. He has a lot. And sometimes they can be very, very reckless. Esau decided to go throw his future away for a meal of porridge, his birthright for food. The same thing with Reuben, second-hand wife of your father. And then Adonijah, you lost a throne to Solomon, who was the descendant of an adulterous relationship. Adonijah, senior son, instead of thinking of something to do with your life, you decided to ask for King David's fairly used wife. And then Solomon ordered him to be killed. Any man who is prone to making wrong choices, just as I've mentioned, is prone to self-retardation and self-destruction. Many of them are very sluggish. Many firstborns, very sluggish. Male or female, very sluggish. And they have bicycle mentalities. If you don't push them, they can't move. If you don't ride them, they can't move. They always need somebody to rest on. Most of them can talk big and they don't act. They can dream and never wake up to pursue their dream, their destinies. They know how to talk big and do very little. They often abandon their projects halfway, firstborns. They are wasteful and very many times dirty. I'm just thinking of a lady that is a firstborn. Just thinking of her. Very wasteful, very lazy, had opportunities, always gluttonous, made wrong choices of husband. God. They have an attitude of staying in one job for so long because they fear to venture out. By the time they realize it, they have wasted so much time doing one thing without progressing. What are the satanic strategies against the firstborn? We have mentioned some. Number one, the devil has a way of prepositioning bad wives and husbands to wait for them. The wife that Reuben married caused great pain to his parents. The wife that he married caused great pains to his parents. When he went to marry again, he married worse off ones. For females, the devil can arrange bad husbands who will render them useless. One of the things that makes this possible is that people eventually learn from the mistakes of the firstborn, but they have no time, they have no person to learn from. So a lot of them are subject to prenatal and postnatal attacks. Even medically, I just went to check. A lot of them are subject to respiratory diseases and so many things. Usually the devil plans ahead for them. Every family is a target of the devil. There are demons in families that have been prepositioned. My elder brother was mentally retarded. My elder brother had convulsions. My elder brother could not complete school. My elder brother became a drunkard. He will drink, vomit, fall in the gutter. We will go and pick him. When I was seeing him, told myself, I will never be like this. The eldest, because we had two, my uncle married my mother first. After that, levirate marriage. That first one was a typology of everything I'm discussing. Married a witch, wasted his life. It's not a memory I should remember. So sometimes you see firstborns that are mentally retarded. Some of them have paralysis. Some of them have polio. Some of them have deformities. Usually by the time the firstborn is born, their parents are not emotionally mature. So they might not know what to do. So they do things by trial and error and multiple suggestions, and sometimes they can cause problems. The parents might also not be financially very stable. So some of these children might be born in health facilities that are not what the parents would have wanted. I know one that was born, the midwife pulled the hand, and one of the hands was paralyzed. And he is still restless and reckless, talkative, not stable. So many firstborns might be malnourished because the parents might not have financial stability. And once you are malnourished, your mental capacity is affected because the parents are struggling to overcome financial pressure and then at that time. And some of them might not be born into the right accommodation. Imagine Jesus was born in a manger. I don't know where they moved to after then. So they have a lot of challenges. Sometimes they are not as tall as the younger ones who have better nutrition, and so that with better expression of the genes. Occasionally, the parents might still be schooling, and so some of these children are given to the grandmothers to take care of. And some of them might need to work and be taking care of these first children. But this nonsense must stop. However, the progression must be stopped. Parents must learn that the dedication ceremony of the firstborn is a unique event. The child must be consecrated unto God and redeemed with a price. The child must be prophesied upon by an anointed servant, a sound servant of God. The dedication of ceremony of Jesus Christ in the temple was not a hurried affair. Today I go to churches, I see 8 babies lined up, including firstborns. And they just pray hurried prayer because they want to run 5 services and the child is carried away. Ideally, the firstborns among them should be selected after the dedication ceremony. Let the pastor prophesy upon them, speak their future into existence. If there are firstborns who are not dedicated, the parents must deliberately make efforts to rededicate those children to God. Commit them, explain to them, commit them to God's service. Or they themselves can personally rededicate themselves to God and His service. I'm a last child. I'm not doing what I'm doing because I want to preach. I didn't sell the hospital to be doing what I'm doing. Even though I enjoy what I'm doing, I have excelled in what I'm doing. I personally dedicated myself to God. I did a bond slave covenant with God. I held my ear and I said, God, nail my ear against the doorpost. I have a right to be free, but I am a bond slave to you from today onwards. Use me as you deem fit. I was listening to a preacher that goes to Tanzania and all those places for missionary work. That is how I started. I started by taking care of prisoners, motherless babies, homes, orphanages, all kinds of things. I went to the remotest part of Ethiopia, to across Lake Basaka to one town there. Went to Morandova and used road from Makeni through boat to Liberia. Ate cassava leaf. I went to the remotest parts of Africa, South Sudan. Did all kinds of things because I committed myself to God. Went to Ethiopia, Lafto, all that. I committed myself, I dedicated myself to God. So the firstborn must pray against distraction, must pray against disturbance, must pray against spiritual ambush before marriage, They program wives for them. The devil programs wives. Let me tell you, I program against them in marriage and in business. They must place a demand on God to give them their position in life and maintain it. They must pray to be decisive, and they must pray for drive, and they must pray to be daring, and pray to attract favor. Now, that child that is not attempting, is not doing anything, sometimes, like as most kings do in our part of the country here, they take the firstborn, who is going to be a king, they take him to one harsh relative to go and live with. Very stern relative to go and live with. When you take that child outside the comfort of junior, you take him to where no person unionizes him. Put him where he can receive strict discipline. Or send him to a school where people can be very firm. Boy, when I got to government college, I knew the difference between June and July. In fact, till today, I don't know how it happens. I still dream that I'm going back to government college, and in that dream, it turns to a nightmare. I start panicking. Sending me to government college was very, very good. It stupidized my, removes stupidity from my brain. The Yorubas have a saying that train up a child the way, foolishness abounds in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it away. The Yorubas have a saying, that is, madness, insanity, craziness is abundant in the head of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it away. Sometimes send this child to somebody else to stay with. A harsh, disciplined uncle. Don't listen to his cries. Let him follow the rigor that has made that uncle who he is. Send them to schools where they can see models. Send them to environments where they can see models that will help them become who they are supposed to be. Give them to mentors, crazy mentors like me. Crazy. I dealt with the son of one prominent politician. I dealt with him. They had to go and use police to look for him. I dealt with him. Today is the pride of the father and my pride. He's in the university now. I'm very crazy. If you're a crazy child, if you come near me, you will know that I'm a postgraduate madman. So sometimes send them to very harsh, crazy mentors like Dr. Charles Apoki, and their heads will be straightened. They will do washing and setting on their heads. Then deprive them of some privileges if they don't perform. Then let every person know that if you are not doing well, that is your fault. For me, I will advise my children, if you enter any trouble after counseling you, or you enter on your own, any person in my house, including my wife, if you deliberately, intentionally, defiantly enter any trouble, you won't see me. I will leave you, you will roast there. You will roast there. Anyway, I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you. This message does not cover every firstborn and every first child. There are those who have had the right training and the right exposure and the right management. But it is a propensity that can be avoided. God bless you. Share this video, subscribe to this channel. Send me a message on +234 7052136763, and I can counsel you and discuss with you and pray with you. God bless you.